Good afternoon and welcome to Senior Living Options in Charlotte, this November edition. Hi, I'm Rob Wachter. I'm with the Wachter Group in Jay Park, Carolina Living, and I am here today with Elizabeth Willis, who is one of our seniors real estate specialists, and behind the camera is Erica Wright helping us out today, seniors real estate specialist. And today we are at Windsor Run, an Erickson Living community, and we will be talking shortly with Ryan Barkley, who is the sales director here. So we thank you for tuning in today, whether you're watching this live or watching this on a recording. We encourage you to add questions to the comments, anything that you'd like to see or any questions you have, we will address those at the end. If you're watching it recorded, don't worry, we'll still be able to get back to you with those answers. We'd love to engage with you to teach you and help you learn more about Windsor Run and all the exciting things that they've got here. So today, again, I want to introduce Ryan Barkley as sales director. Ryan, thanks so much for inviting us today.
And Rob, thank you for having me on your show. Mm-hmm. We're thrilled that you all are back.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We started our inaugural video was here.
That's right. So hopefully we'll see a cleaned up version.
We've learned a few things since then.
That's right.
So I'd love it if you start by talking about a little bit about Windsor Run and what a continuing care retirement community, or CCRC, is, because sometimes that can be a little confusing to folks.
That's right. And so for those of you who are considering your senior living options, you'll find that the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area is full of really great options. And you're going to keep hearing this term CCRC, continuing care retirement community, right? So Windsor Run falls into that category. Basically what that means is we offer different types of lifestyles within the community, starting with independent living. So we'll see that first today. And then you have the continuing care, which is going to be a little bit more subset within our community. And we offer assisted living, skilled nursing, memory care services. Mm-hmm. So when you hear the term CCRC, generally it means there's at least two types of that care. It could be assisted living and skilled nursing. It could be anywhere from independent all the way through. Mm-hmm. Here at Windsor, we do offer the full gamut of services, but it doesn't need to have every single piece to be a CCRC.
Excellent. So it sounds to me like one of the benefits of that would be that someone might not have to move to a different community if their needs changed.
That's exactly right. That's the entire idea, is that you move in and you can age in place within the community.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, we've had the pleasure of working with a good number of families that have moved in here, and we've heard so many wonderful things about Windsor Run. Every time I come through here, we see more of our clients playing Rummy Cube or at the restaurant. But today we're here specifically because we want to look at two things, I think, right? We have a new apartment building that has opened, correct?
Yep. In fact, we have two buildings we'll be looking at today. We just opened up an apartment building of 113 apartments, and that opened up just this past October. In fact, it opened on October 11th, and since then, we've already moved in 90 apartments. So wow. It's been a very quick fill. Mm-hmm. I know you've been a big part of that. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to see our care center, and that's the exciting piece. So until that opened this past October, we were just an independent living community. Gotcha. We were called a CCRC, but we didn't have that care on site, mm-hmm. and now we've got that. So we're going to walk through the care center and showcase that to the audience today.
Excellent. Well, appreciate that. And if everything works well, can we head out and start doing this tour now?
Yep. So I'm going to ask we put on masks just for the tour today. We're going to be walking through the halls.
Of course. And protection of other people is crucial and important.
That's right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Here we go. So I should mention we are in the clubhouse building here at the community. Mm-hmm. The clubhouse building is where most of our amenity spaces are located. Mm-hmm. Some stuff we won't necessarily see today are health and well-being pieces like the pool, the fitness center. Those are downstairs. Mm-hmm. We encourage folks to come by and take a look at the community, and nothing really exchanges for coming in and actually seeing Windsor Run in person. But
of course, and we do have a video on our YouTube page and library of those from January of this year.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So we would basically call this our hub. This is, like I said, where most of the activities take place. All of our restaurants are going to be in this building, and we're going to walk by those momentarily. Mm-hmm. Every single building at Windsor Run, except for the care center, are connected. So all of independent living is connected, so you can get from any point to any point without ever having to go outside. And then if you need to get to the care center and you don't feel like you can make that walk, we've got a shuttle that can get you from place to place.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. I see we have holiday decorations coming out already.
Oh, yeah. So this is really going to give us a point in time here. So if you're watching this video in the future, we're mid-November and getting geared up for the holidays. Mm-hmm. First thing I'm going to highlight is our cafe. So we've got 3 restaurants with a 4th coming soon. This is going to be the most casual of all of the restaurants. The idea here is it's going to be a little quicker, a little more casual. I oftentimes refer to it as it's a lot like going to Panera.
Okay.
It's good quality food. You order it to go. You order it ready, hot and ready. They'll bring it out to your table. You hang out as long as you want. But it's not necessarily table service. So, and then we do have a central kitchen that operates all 4 of the restaurants right here in the middle of the clubhouse. So everything is made on site by Windsor Run cooks, chefs. Our entire dining team is part of the staff.
Excellent. I noticed that it's just that the decor is modern. The hallways are nice and wide. It's a very comfortable place to walk around and be.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have handrails on every single hallway. So if somebody just needs a little assistance or a little bit of rest, it's just right there, but it blends in naturally with the surroundings. The second restaurant we have is the Tavern. This really offers as kind of a medium grade restaurant. It's got smaller plates. You could eat a full meal here, or you could just come in here for an appetizer before dinner. Has a full bar. So it's just a great spot to come in and just hang out, or you can actually get, like I said, dinner here.
Okay.
And then finally,
So liquor is allowed.
Liquor is
we
allowed.
get that question a lot.
Yep. And in fact, the liquor laws are work out that you could actually, for a uncorking fee, you can bring a bottle of wine to dinner. It's pretty generous here. So the idea is you get to really live your life, and we just support it. Here, the Grove is going to be the most formal of the 3 restaurants. And then in the near future, we'll have a 4th restaurant that kind of sits on the back side of the Grove. So the idea is you get a lot of variety. No restaurant offers the exact same menu. So you can pick and choose when you want to eat. You can pick and choose what time of day, where, how, if you're going to eat big. If you really stretch out your meal allowance, you get 400 points a month. You could eat twice a day. So it really just depends on your eating habits and how you want to utilize that as part of the community. All right, so hi, how are you?
So if a resident has family that comes to visit, can they bring them to the restaurant?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're a very guest-friendly community. You can make a reservation. You can show up, as you see fit. And, hello, Andrea. Welcome to the show. So we are in the community during normal business hours, so we're going to run into some folks, I'm sure. It's a good thing. That shows there's folks.
Absolutely. Well, in fact, every time I come here, there's a good number of people milling around, enjoying being social.
Exactly, and you can't you can't walk through the halls without running into somebody a familiar face. So, as I was mentioning, everything is connected through indoor walkways. So we're gonna cut out of the clubhouse here and head into our new building, White Oak Terrace. If you were standing outside, you may have a hard time telling building from building, but a lot of times we have these bridges that are climate controlled. You can walk through to get from one building to another.
And I see a putting green, and I see new construction. I see a lot of things going on around here.
That's right. So right now, Windsor Run has 431 apartments, and we're going to be building up to 900 when it's all said and done. As you see on the camera, there's a big pile of dirt out there. Well, we're just starting to do site work for our next couple of buildings. So right now, it's just for reference, in November 2021, we're expecting about another building or 2 in the 2023 range, and then 1 or 2 more buildings right behind that in the 2024 time frame. So we do have
We'll be busy for a while.
Yep. Right now we've got about 600 residents, but we filled up White Oak Terrace very quickly. There's still a lot of demand, and so because of that, we got started on our next couple of residential buildings. So now we are in a residential area. You continue to see a similar vibe in the hallways, but it does have more of a residential feel. Still have the handrails. If you like to use stairs, you can always walk up and down the stairs. We do have elevators in every single building. And what I always love to point out is, as you walk through, you see doors with wreaths on them, but you can't tell if this is an 800 square foot apartment or a 2,000 square foot apartment. So when you're walking through the halls, everybody kind of feels like an equal when they live in the community. Of course, if you know our key plans, you might know.
We may have had a little connection issue, so we're going to move it along to get that back. So thank you, Verizon.
Yeah. So we were talking about dinner. Virtually everybody does come down to the restaurant for dinner, whether they actually eat or take it to go back to their apartment. Very few people just completely stay back altogether. Sometimes folks do go out for dinner, but most people do utilize at least one meal per day at our restaurants. Also, it's a big social gathering, so there's a good reason to go out for dinner.
Absolutely.
So we're going to pop into one of our bigger apartments.
Yeah, you mentioned 2,000 square feet.
It's not quite, but it's pretty close, yeah. We have apartments that get upwards of 2,000. This one is actually about 1,780, so it's pretty close. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and it has a den/dining room. Depends on, some people use it as a den, some people use it as a dining room.
In real estate, we often call that a flex space.
A flex space, exactly. So I'm going to mention, I have my badge here. Every resident has a badge. The great thing is, if you or I lose our house key, well, somebody out there now could have our house key. If you lose your badge, we can deactivate it, and nobody will have access to your apartment again.
Nice.
Except for our security team. So we're going to just use this, opens up, and we have a log now every time somebody enters and exits the apartment.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So come on in. As I mentioned, this is one of our larger apartments. Not quite the largest, but it is up there. Everything in this apartment does represent a standard finishing touch. So every apartment, no matter if it's an 800 square foot or 2,000, you're going to get the granite, you're going to get the hardwood cabinets, you're going to get the stainless steel appliances, all of which is maintained by Windsor Run. So certainly one of the biggest differences from being a homeowner and living in a CCRC is we maintain the home on the behalf of the resident.
So that's not just cost, but that's actually the labor. So if
That's right.
something breaks, someone just shows up and fixes it?
That's right. All you have to do is make one easy call to the front desk. We show up, we take care of it, no cost to the resident.
Excellent.
I will say, if you see a little bit of dust, pardon our dust, brand new building, we're still getting this one 100% ready for the next occupant, or for the first occupant. Most of our apartments do have this outdoor space feature. Not every single one, but in our next couple of buildings, the next 2 buildings we open up will have 100% outdoor space, either a balcony or a patio. So for those folks that like to just walk outside, maybe have your coffee on the porch in the morning, you can do that with a screen porch in many cases. Here's our flex room.
So that could be an office or a bedroom or, well,
whatever you want, really, yeah. Sometimes folks will just opt to take the doors off and just make it an extension of the living room. So there's a lot of custom work that folks will do as well.
So people are allowed to customize above and beyond what Windsor Run offers?
Yep. So for starters, most people want to put on window treatments. That's usually step one. You can paint, you can refloor it. In some cases, you can add some pretty substantial, we've had people close off walls to make, for instance, in this apartment, they closed off the bathroom wall to make it more wall space. And so you have the ability to customize with it, because we want it to be your space. This is certainly one of the
closet.
most. Go ahead.
I think that closet's bigger than my college
Yeah,
dorm.
exactly. That's our 3rd bedroom there. And of course, every 2-bathroom apartment at Windsor Run has 2 full bathrooms. Did I say 2 bathroom?
You did, but we knew what you meant.
Yeah, 2-bedroom apartment has 2 full bathrooms, and then all 1-bedroom apartments have a minimum of a bath and a half.
Okay.
So you will never have to share your master bath with a guest, if you are so inclined. We, of course, have all of the sprinkler systems, all the up-to-date technology that you would expect in a brand new building when you're living amongst others.
Absolutely.
We have the wireless internet wired throughout the buildings. That's becoming more and more important. I know a lot of people are finding that they stream their TV rather than plug in a cable these days.
And you're looking at one of those people.
Yep.
Now, I have to say, I would, as a real estate agent, I would describe this as almost a chef's kitchen. I mean, this is not a small
That's right.
little place.
Now, what's funny about that is occasionally we have somebody that says, I'm moving here because I don't want to cook anymore. And I'll tell them, we can find you an apartment that suits your needs. That's okay. Some people are acclimated and accustomed to having a big kitchen like this, and that's what they want. So we've got variety. We've got about 35 floor plans in total. So
35.
if you find that you like Windsor Run, we'll find you the apartment that fits your needs and your lifestyle.
Okay, and over here I see full-size laundry machines too.
Yep, this is the last piece I wanted to highlight. So we do have a second bedroom, we do have a second bathroom, but every apartment does have a laundry area. So you don't have to go down the hall, go to some kind of shared laundry space. It's right here in your apartment.
And it's not a stackable little machine either. So.
It's not. Yeah, we can stack them, but these are not. Yeah, these are full size.
Okay. And I love this this flooring. It really makes it feel like a home rather than an apartment. Rather than a cookie cutter place.
So, and we've transitioned to using vinyl plank in our apartments. We found it's very popular. It doesn't scuff easily. It doesn't get cold. It doesn't crack if you drop something on it, and it wears really well, and it's easy to clean. So, even in a $500,000 apartment, it still looks like $1 million.
Okay.
That just sounded really salesy, didn't
We're
it?
going to head to the right. It did, but that is you are the director of salesiness.
I can say it.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to navigate our way over to Piedmont Overlook. So this is just a very quick glimpse of White Oak Terrace. We would encourage, for those folks who want to come and see Windsor Run, we hold appointments Monday through Friday, some Saturdays. We're actually having an open house this Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, from 10 to 12. So we really try to make it as flexible as possible for folks to actually come out and visualize Windsor Run. We expect that this is a process. Once you start looking at your senior living options, most people, it's a good 2 to 2.5 year process. So we encourage you to come early and come often because you want to make this an educated process, not an impulsive process. And unfortunately, too many people do make an impulsive decision. And we advise against that. We really want people to get to know their options. This is a big and important move.
Well, I mean, in the way it's set up, continuing care, this is, I would imagine, designed to be one of the last moves somebody makes.
Yep. And frankly, most people do make that move with the idea that this is their last move. And sometimes that's not the case, but in many cases it is. And so we take that very seriously, and we want to make sure that you feel empowered in getting all the information you possibly can. Possibility we're going to lose service here. We're going to go through a stairwell, but we'll be in and out.
We'll go quickly.
That's right.
Well, one thing you can tell that this is built up to code. Everything is solid and firewalled and just the way it should be.
And you can
now
see
I hear we might even get to go on a ride now.
I know, we're going on a golf cart, and I see we're getting ready for, in case we get a little ice this winter season.
Gosh, it is cold, huh?
48 degrees.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
I see our chariot.
There it is.
So, is this what you're talking about when you mentioned a shuttle?
This is the shuttle. Yes, this is the shuttle that takes you from independent living, right? This is actually the move truck.
Gotcha.
You're not allowed to bring anything that doesn't fit on the golf cart. All right, come on in. We're going to get cozy for a minute.
Okay. Oh, you get to drive?
Yeah, we're going to find out how this goes. I've only crashed 3 times this month, which is a new record, so we'll see if we can we gotta board the crew.
There you go.
It wouldn't look good if we left the crew behind, Rob.
All aboard.
Here we go. Herps to turn it on.
So I noticed that these buildings are 4 and sometimes 5 stories tall.
So they all are 5. It just depends on which side of the building you're standing on.
Gotcha.
Sometimes the grade of the ground hides some of the floors.
So that would explain why some buildings
appear to be 4.
Or some that the middle floor is the ground floor.
Oh yes, exactly. One thing I wanted to point out, if we can catch it, is that we do have covered parking. A lot of people want to be able to cover it from the elements or the sun, but we do have that on site in every parking lot. So right ahead of us, it's probably a little grainy right now because the golf cart hasn't been cleaned in a while, but we're approaching the continuing care center. You'll notice it's a one-story building, and when we're inside, everything is scaled to be just a little bit more appropriate for the lifestyle that we offer. In the continuing care, just is a little bit different of a lifestyle. We still try to provide the highest quality care you can receive, and but there's going to be a little bit more of a person-centered approach. So everybody's going to live a little closer to the dining, to the amenities, etc. So one disclaimer, or one, I don't know if it's a disclaimer, I don't know the right word, but you'll notice we have our green wristbands on. We did check in earlier, so we had to get our temperature checked, and we had to satisfy a few questions to say we are feeling great today and we are not symptomatic of COVID, something we take.
That's there just to protect all the residents, right? Because that's the number one important thing.
Exactly. So it's not only, it's important at the community, it's even more critical within the continuing care.
Well, people that are in need of care are often more vulnerable.
Exactly. So considering this is the most vulnerable population, we take it very seriously. The first thing I'm going to highlight is when you're walking through continuing care versus independent living, it looks relatively similar when you're in the halls. They're a little bit wider, but you still see very similar colors. It's actually, this is a newer building, maybe, or it's our newest building, so it kind of has the newest, poppiest colors. But it's still got the handrails all the way throughout, big long hallways. Hello. Or you can go by.
Okay. All right, and it looks like there's space for some rehabilitation services coming down the road?
Yep, exactly. So we've built that in right now. First project was to get the care up and running, get residents moved in, stabilize all of that, and then we will, in the future, we don't have an exact timeline, be able to offer physical therapy and rehab right here on site. All right, as we come across the hall here, you'll see we have a salon right on site.
Oh, that's handy. Is that who does your hair?
It unfortunately, I know it looks like $1 million, this old thing, but we have the hair salon right here on site, so anyone can come get their hair cut, nails trimmed, without having to leave the building. So not only, and the other thing is, I want to mention, you don't have to go to independent living either, right? It's right here in the care center. So we really do try to offer as many amenities that make sense even within the care center. Here is the actual restaurant. So right now we're in the middle of the day, so we're not really catching dining hours.
Of course.
So it's actually kind of perfect. But you'll notice if you compare this to one of our independent living restaurants, once again, it's got a similar feel. It's just a smaller scale and more appropriate to the lifestyle here at the in the care center.
There
yes.
we go.
So we've
Hopefully we got the connection back. Did we get the connection back? Okay.
All right. So we are now in the courtyard. What I love about this courtyard is that it's self-contained, meaning that if you or a loved one are here and you're concerned about your loved one maybe just having the freedom to walk about, there's really nowhere for the person to leave the community. They're self-contained within this space, but it's still really beautiful, really comfortable to just come out here, have a bite, enjoy the sun, and also there's a little putting green. We'll do a lot of activities out here.
So a good balance between safety and freedom.
Exactly. That was a big part of the design of this courtyard in this building. So we wanted it. Once again, we know outdoor spaces are really critical to folks moving in. We hear it more and more and more every year, and we wanted to make sure that folks in the continuing care center had that same option. So we're going to go through the game parlor, and then we're going to head over to see one of the apartments.
Okay, and I think what we might do, depending on, we're having some signal issues with Verizon here.
Okay.
If for some reason we get into that apartment and we don't have a signal, we'll probably just come right back out here.
That's
to
perfect.
Finish
Yep.
for the
Okay.
question and answer period.
Yep. Hi, folks. So we got a little art and craft going on.
A shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard. I mean, come on now. Who doesn't like a little shuffleboard? I don't know, just once again emphasize the idea that you've got activities happening, you've got game rooms. A lot of people think that making a transition into the care center means that you're sacrificing freedom, but really it's more accessible, it's easily right down the hall, and it's scalable, so you can really live the best version of your life when you're here. All right, now let's see if we come down the hall this way, let's see if we can and once again, you'll see all the apartments on the sides of the halls. So rather than having a separate clubhouse and a separate residential building, it's really integrated into one building. We have 4 different floor plan styles here. We've got the studio. We've got 2 different types of studios, and then the one we're going to see gives us the most flexibility. And we're going to come and see that in a second. It probably makes more sense to see it before I explain it.
Now, the support services and health staff are on staff all the time here, right?
Yep. So, and they're employed by Windsor Run, which is, once again, important. So you're going to get consistency in both the people that you're seeing, they're giving the care, but also the training that they're receiving. So it's going to be a very consistent approach
I
to...
imagine the standard of service is the same.
Exactly. Yep, and we're all part of one big family trying to support the same mission here at Windsor Run of helping people live the best version of their life. We're going to pop into this apartment right here. So this is a unique offering in the marketplace. This is something that we've recently introduced into our assisted living, skilled nursing buildings. We don't really have a specific name for the whole thing, but I mean, we call it the Georgetown. What you'll see right now, Rob and I are standing in a common space, and then you have 2 apartment suites. Now, in some cases, you'll find for affordability reasons, this will be split by 2 different people. In some cases, it'll be a husband and a wife or 2 spouses. And in some cases, it'll be one person that occupies the entire suite. And so it's the most flexible because it allows 2 people the affordability, it allows a couple to stay together, or it offers one person the maximum amount of space. Yep. So it's been a really well received offering in the marketplace, and we're excited about how it turned out. You'll find that each one of the
common kitchenette and then a bath and a bedroom.
Every single one, had 2 separate bedroom bathrooms, and they're just a mirror image of each other. Of course, you'll find everything is modified for an assisted living or skilled nursing environment. So you have an emergency call in every bedroom. You've got the roll-in shower. I know it might be tough to get this angle here. But the showers are modified specifically to fit this type of care, which once again we find to be more appropriate for this age and stage.
But I'm noticing it doesn't look as institutional as some other places that I've seen.
Right, and that's
homey.
We try really hard to take away the institutional feel anytime we make a design of a new building or a new apartment. So
well, I think that about wraps up what we're going to see today, right?
Yeah, I wanted to just briefly introduce my companion here. His name is Chris Fitzgibbons. He runs the joint.
Welcome, Chris. Thanks for coming by.
No problem.
He's a licensed nursing home administrator. We also call him the director of continuing care. Any other titles that you'd want to share with us today?
Sometimes I'm Ryan Barkley's director.
Yeah, that's right. He's my boss, and well, he wishes, but I know that he'd be a great person to get to know, because usually when folks are touring Windsor Run, a lot of times they'll start and they'll take a look at independent living, but they also want to tour our continuing care. Chris and his team are the experts of all the knowledge here. So I can give you a little bit of information, but he's truly an expert in a senior living, especially within the continuing care world.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps up our tour today. So we're going to take a couple minutes to do some Q&A in case anybody has any questions. And I Remind the audience, if you have a question, you're watching this recorded, still please go ahead and put the question in the comment. We will get that answer back to you. And I believe I'm going to hand it over to Elizabeth now, who I believe has been compiling the questions that are coming through.
Thank you. I have, and I just want to point out what a great tour we just had. That was awesome. I know I learned a lot, and I appreciate watching as we went through. So first question that I have is, can I move into the care center that we toured directly if I've never lived at Windsor Run before?
Sure. So this is a question we get quite often because everybody wants to know what their options are, right? And the short answer is yes, if there's space. Now, we do prioritize our space for current Windsor Run residents. And so we encourage folks to really look at Windsor Run holistically. Start your search early. And if you're going to make a move into a continuing care retirement community, we recommend looking at the independent living piece because that's where you're going to basically give yourself the highest and best chance of securing a space in continuing care. Now, of course, if all of our current residents are satisfied and there's no demand for a space, then yes, we would allow somebody who doesn't currently live at Windsor Run an option. But to give yourself the highest and best chance, the idea is move all the way through the kind of the continuing care spectrum.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. And if anybody has questions around any of that, just, again, put it in the comments, whether you're watching now live or later, and we can maybe break that down a little bit better if we needed to. All right. So next question is, what is the cost of moving into Piedmont Overlook specifically? So
the short answer is how much you got. No, I'm just kidding.
Me specifically, or?
So the cost of moving into independent living is a set price. Moving into continuing care depends all about the need of the resident. So prior to moving in, every single resident receives what we refer to as a holistic assessment so that we can find out exactly the need of every specific resident and make sure we target those individual needs. And so it is a variable pricing structure, and it depends all on the needs of that incoming resident. I will say it is going to be more than independent living, but it's usually very appropriate for the type of care someone would be receiving.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you. Next question is, if you could just, I know we saw so many different things just walking through. Are there any amenities that maybe we should notate that we didn't see today that are here at the community?
So there are quite a few amenities. First and foremost, you've got all the clubs, activities, and groups, many of which we passed today, many of which we intentionally left off camera, believe it or not. We have a wood shop on site. That's pretty neat.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that myself. That's pretty cool.
And it's a pretty comprehensive wood shop. We've got the gardening club. We actually drove right past it on the golf cart. It was a little tricky to catch that when we were moving at 12 miles an hour, so through dusty windows. We have some walking trails we're currently in the process of putting in. And it's going to be a pretty neat walking trail. It's going to go around a couple of our ponds. We're going to really try to adopt as much of the foliage as possible that's natural to the area. Nice. And then we've got a pool, we've got a fitness center. Both of those are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's quite a bit here. We like to think there's a little bit up for everybody. But keep in mind, Windsor Run is only about halfway built. Mm-hmm. So we'll be building for the next 4 or 5 years. We'll be adding amenities to the community. We've got about 430 independent living apartments right now. We're going to double that over the course of time, and we're going to put on some pretty significant expansions to our continuing care as well. So we've got a ways to go, some things that don't even exist quite yet.
And I think that's, to your point earlier, why it's so important to come even earlier than you think you might need to see what's to come and where you fall within all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so next question. If I'm living in independent living currently and I want to transition into the care center, what does that process look like, and where do you begin with it?
Sure. So it's not terribly different than moving into independent living. First thing you want to do is familiarize yourself with Piedmont Overlook. In fact, that's something we encourage folks to do prior to moving into independent living. This is kind of the crown jewel of Windsor Run. This is really one of the key reasons why people do move in, because if their health needs change, they know they've got an incredibly high quality care that they can move into. So we encourage you to do that first and foremost, but even still, as if you see your health needs changing, sometimes it happens quickly, but most of the time it's a progressive change, and you'll start to familiarize yourself with the options. Should you make the decision to move, it's basically as simple as finding the right apartment, having your assessment, and making the transition over. The entrance deposit that you placed when you moved into the community, well, it still covers you to live wherever you live within the community. And then you'll find that the monthly service payment that you make will adjust based on the need of the resident moving in. So it's a pretty seamless transition, all things considered.
I was just about to say, it sounds fairly seamless, which is really what you hope for yourself and for your family members that are going through that. I believe that's all the questions I have. I'll pass the mic back, mic back over.
Sure. Actually, I have one question that somebody that knew we were going to do this broadcast made sure I asked.
All right.
What is the pet policy for both independent living and Piedmont?
So the pet policy the basic version of it is that we're a pet-friendly community. In fact, we have a dog park. That was an amenity I didn't mention. And we would love for you to bring your pet. The one stipulation is that we really just ask that you can manage your pet, either personally or that you can put the provisions in to make sure that your pet is cared for. But for the most part, it's a very pet-friendly community, and we've got very good guidelines so that if you love animals, you've got the chance to interact with them. If you don't love animals, you don't have to interact with them. And there's good guidelines.
Sort of the best of both worlds.
Yes, we try to balance that for the benefit of everyone.
Excellent. Well, Ryan, thanks for this tour today, and thanks for showing us the new building and the health center. And thank you for watching this video today. This has been the November edition of Senior Living Options in Charlotte, Windsor Run, and we appreciate you watching. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out to us right here on Facebook, and we would be glad to answer them.